malocclusions. Often the class 2 malocclusions are 25 to 30% seen in our population. And we all know that class 2 malocclusion could be because of class 2 div 1 or a class 2 div 2. It could be skeletal, it could be dental. When the dentition has moved, the molar has moved to a class 2 position. It could be in a growing patient, it could be in a non-growing patient. When it is in a growing patient, we have the growth modification approach at hand. And when it is in a non-growing patient, then the treatment options are camouflage and orthognathic surgery. So these are the different functional appliances which work when class 2 is because of mandibular retrognathism. And this is a diagnostic test, visual treatment objective. We ask the patient to bring the mandible forward. And when the nasal, on the subnasal and the pogonal lie in one line, then we say that the VTO is positive and the functional appliance will work. So you're given a condition then, a boy of 12 years reports with a class 2 malocclusion due to retrognathic mandible. We all know that a class 2 could be because of normal maxilla with a retrognathic mandible, or a prognathic maxilla with a normal mandible, or the combination prognathic maxilla with a retrognathic mandible. So it is specified here. You can see the mandible in a photograph. The mandible is retrognathic. There is a class 2 relationship. He is a boy of 12 years. In boys, the puberty is attained by the age of 14 years. So sufficient growth is there at hand to bring about growth modification approach. And so these type of cases are treated with functional appliances, the Bionator, the Frankel, the twin block appliance, which is now the most versatile and patient-friendly appliance. And this case has been treated by a twin block appliance. You may get another clinical condition, a girl of 10 years with a class 2 malocclusion due to retrognathic mandible. Girls attain puberty by the age of 12 years. But still, now the generation is faster maturing. You need to study the skeletal maturity indicators like the hand rest radiograph or a cervical vertebrae staging. We say CVMI stage 3 is the best time to give the myofunctional appliances. Or even MP3, the middle phalanx of the third finger, that also is an guide for the growth status to study the skeletal maturity. So when she is a girl of 10 years, means there is a growth, sufficient growth left. She's in an accelerated phase of growth, and this class 2 malocclusion has been treated by Bionators. So every functional appliance has its own philosophy, and according to the functional analysis and the skeletal and the dental analysis, the appliance is to be chosen. Now this is a boy, a 10 years, a growing boy, and he has a class 2 malocclusion due to prognathic maxilla. So when the maxilla is growing, we need to stop its growth, restrain its growth, redirect its growth, and that is done by an orthopedic appliance. So the orthopedic appliance used is a headgear, as can be seen in this photograph. It is a cervical pull headgear. You can see the components of a headgear, the face bow, the cervical strap taking anchorage from the cervical vertebrae, and the spring module. So a force of around 12 to 14 ounce is used and to restrain, redirect the growth of the maxilla so that the mandible catches up in a growing child, and then the maxilla and mandible grows in unison. But here, the age is more. The girl is of 14 years, and she again has a class 2 with a retrognathic mandible. So should we give a removable functional appliance? Removable functional appliance should be given in an accelerated phase. They need a time to work during the growth status. But the girl, this has crossed the puberty. She is in the post-pubertal. But when we see as a post-pubertal also means the growth increments have reduced. But there is some residual growth, a slow growth taking place of around 10 to 20%. So in such cases, taking advantage of this residual growth, we then give a fixed functional appliance. So along with the fixed appliance here, you can see a fixed functional appliance given. The fixed functional appliance can be a rigid fixed functional appliance like a Herbst appliance, but it has its limitation. There's frequent breakages, the lateral movements are restricted, and therefore preferred are the flexible fixed functional appliance like the Forces or Jasper jumper. And here you can see forces has been given to jump the mandible forward and correct that mandibular retrognatism. Now this is a child who has patient who has crossed the puberty. A typical class 2 malocclusion can be seen over here, increased overjet, proclination of the upper anteriors. Then in such cases, the mandibular length is also sufficient. So in such cases, the extractions are carried out. So here in this case, upper furfur is carried out. The first premolar is extracted. So what we achieve with the upper first premolar extraction? The canine relationship has come to class 1. Overjet is normal, overbite is normal, but the molar is in class 2, a functional class 2, which is acceptable. There's a good fit of the posterior occlusion. So upper furfur extractions can be carried out in class 2 malocclusions like this, or all 4 extractions also if the lowers are proclined, or there's a crowding. Or upper furfur with a lower second premolar, upper first premolar and a lower second premolar extraction to mesialize the molar and correct a class 2 molar relationship can be carried out. Now this is another condition where you can see an end-on molar relationship. A mild class 2 develops, a growing child in that case, where it is often a dental class 2 because of the mesialization of the molar. In such cases, distalization of the molar can be carried out by molar distalizing appliance like a coil spring used with an indirect anchorage or a distal jet appliance. Even a jack screw can be used for only molar distalization. The position has to be kept in such a way that only the molar distalize and the molar relationship can be corrected. And here in the figure at the bottom you can see the space has been gained by molar distalization, which is then utilized to correct the mild anterior crowding. If the discrepancy is severe, if the class 2 is severe, around A and B of around 6 to 7 degrees, where you know that the camouflage means compensating the skeletal jaw bases by tooth alignment or tooth position. But when that is not going to help, the soft tissue is not going to improve, then in those cases, surgical management is done. For example, in this particular patient, a BSSO with a mandibular advancement is done. There's hardly any chin button. Even after mandibular advancement, the chin was not prominent, and therefore an advancement genioplasty is carried out in class 2 skeletal malocclusions in adults. So a pre-surgical orthodontics is done, then surgery is done, and then a post-surgical orthodontics is done to finish the case, to have a good intercuspation and finish the case. Other surgeries which can be carried out in class 2 malocclusion are anterior maxillary subapical setback, only the subapical setback, or mandibular total subapical advancement, or a maxillary impaction along with a Lefort where maxilla is at fault. If there is a maxillary prognatism, then in that cases, the maxilla is to be distalized along with a superior impaction. In most of the cases, there is a vertical also maxillary excess. So, Lefort 1 with the maxillary impaction is carried out. Now, distraction osteogenesis is also a method. Distraction means lengthening the bone. And this lengthening of the bone where it is deficient. So, the segment is protracted by placing a distractor. So first an osteotomy cut is given, then after 7 days of latency, a distractor is placed which is activated 1 millimeter per day till the corrections which we want are achieved. And then there is is a consolidation phase. A new bone is allowed to form in this osteotomy cutout distracted segment. So that was for class 2 division 1 malocclusions. But what when class 2 div 2 is present in a growing child like this? How can we jump the mandible because the centrals are retroclined? There's hardly any jet to jump. So in such cases, a pre-functional appliance is given, either removable or a fixed as given in this case. So with correction of the anteriors, with unraveling of the crowding by proclination wedges, so an overjet is there created into which now the mandible can jump with our functional appliances. And all our functional appliances, removal functional appliances, can be given in a growing child. Now, if this class 2 div 2 is in a patient who has crossed the puberty, like this, then in those cases, the anteriors are proclined with a fixed appliance. Often a protraction utility arch is given to procline the upper anteriors. You get a space by proclination into which the mild crowding in the canine region can be corrected, and then the skeletal base, the retrognathic mandible, is then brought forward to a class 1 by a fixed functional appliance like forceps. Now, this is an adult patient, class 2 div 2 malocclusion. The central incisors has locked that mandible posteriorly. So these cases need a surgical correction because it's not in a growing phase. The mandible is not going to jump. It is to be brought surgically forward. So a pre-surgical orthodontics is carried out, and then a PSSO with a mandibular advancement is done, and then the post-surgical orthodontics, the treatment is finished. Retentions. Now class 2s, we want to hold that correction which is there, the distal occlusion which has been corrected to a normal occlusion. So in our Hawley's retainer, an anterior inclined plane should be given that will hold the mandible forward into a class 1 relationship till the posterior occlusion settles well and no relapse takes place.